history in this jungle created by mankind.
Prioritize, learn, act. Now, do you have a plan? Prioritize your life in order of importance. Learn from previous lessons and act now. Welcome to another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Coming up, young people who obviously have a plan of action and are making significant changes in their lives through the youth program. Plus, we hear from some persons who've dealt with the serious issue of suicide. And as we continue to observe Heart Month, we hear how some Jamaicans are trying to maintain a healthy heart. A full package is in store. We head to the news first. We'll be right back shortly.
What are you doing to help the fight against crime?
Sitting on the corner, minding your own business, definitely not going to work.
It is time for us to unite.
Unite.
Unite for change.
Citizens coming together to make their respective communities safer. The police, schools, public health, business, churches, NGOs, parents and neighborhood watch volunteers.
As we, the police, do our job,
We as citizens need to do our part as well.
Report crimes or even suspicious activities.
Let's all work together
As one united front against crime.
and make Jamaica the place of choice to
live, work, raise families,
and do business.
Unite for Change, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, February 18. Government is doing all it can to meet the targets outlined for the January to March quarter under the agreement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. At a press conference with the IMF mission to Jamaica last Thursday, Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips said there was a slight change to the fourth quarter requirements. The omnibus banking legislation is no longer required for passage in the January to March quarter.
It's really just given that the drafting efforts are beginning to coincide with the budgetary debating sequence for the Parliament, and we want to ensure that that given the significance of the legislation, that Parliament is afforded an opportunity to have that discussion.
The estimates of expenditure is expected to be tabled in the House of Representatives on April 3, and the Finance Minister will open the budget debate on April 17. The Education Ministry will be doing expansive infrastructural work in 33 primary and high schools this year to remove them from the shift system.
That's a good move. It's an expensive move. We're not borrowing any more money from anybody to do it. We're going to do it by using our own resources that you, the taxpayers, contribute. But we have a far way to go because it's nearly 200 schools in Jamaica that are on the shift system.
The Education Minister made the announcement at the recent rededication ceremony for the Central High School in Clarendon. A new 9-classroom block was installed at the institution, allowing it to be removed from the shift system. The Ministry of Education, with the support of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, has officially rolled out a program to improve best practices in schools. The Respect Agenda campaign seeks to re-socialize students in civic values such as respect, honesty, discipline and hard work through the guidance of national designated mentors. Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaite says the program is relevant and appropriate to meet the needs of the society.
Nobody else will do it. We have to advance new standards of behavior, of social conduct, which will inure towards better academic achievement and the expression of that in productive behavior in our society.
The program is being piloted in St. Catherine and Clarendon and will subsequently roll out in other parishes. Funding is being provided by the Petra-Carib Development Fund as part of an incentive package. Residents of communities in and around Negril in Westmoreland are one step closer to receiving continuous and sustained access to potable water. This as Cabinet recently approved a $53.9 million contract for the construction of the Mount Airy reinforced concrete water storage tank. Geecho Consultants and Construction Limited is to be awarded the contract.
The scope of work includes the supply of materials, equipment and labor, site works, and complete excavation, construction, testing and sterilization of the 1.2 million litre reinforced concrete water storage tank.
The project will be financed from the NWC's K-Factor stream of funds. Climate Change Minister Robert Pickersgill says his ministry will be trying to simplify information on climate change so every Jamaican can fully understand the depth of the challenge. The suggestion came from participants at the first in a series of public consultations on the Green Paper for the Climate Change Policy Framework and Action Plan.
A student who was very articulate said that we should jamalize the presentations because the vocabulary for climate change is quite esoteric and there are many acronyms involved in the business of climate change, and so I totally agree that we have to do something.
The final policy document is to be the benchmark for climate change considerations nationally. The public consultations wrap up on Wednesday in St. James and Kingston. And finally, services provided under the Labour Ministry's Overseas Employment Programme will improve now that there are 2 new buses to transport workers. The buses were donated by members of the Jamaica Liaison Services in Canada and handed over last week. Portfolio Minister Derek Kelly reiterated his ministry's commitment to the efficient management of the program.
Improved mobility is an important element of this progressive agenda, and the 2 buses being commissioned today will add to the existing fleet used to transport farm workers as they are dispatched overseas.
With a $260,000 donation from current farm workers in Washington, a pavilion will also be built to shelter workers during recruitment and processing activities at the center. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Crocodiles contribute significantly to maintaining pollution-free waters and clean habitats for themselves and other wildlife.
They serve a purpose in our marine ecosystems. Them being scavengers, they help with the health of our marine systems, which impacts the fish that we like to eat in Jamaica.
Every wildlife, plant and animal, has a linkage to the ecosystem that makes it healthy.
Moreover, the crocodile is an endangered species and is protected under Jamaica's Wildlife Protection Act. The penalty for capturing crocodiles, harming them, or having any part in one's possession, living or dead, is $100,000 and up to 2 years in prison. Let's care and protect our endangered species. Stop eating crocodiles.
Recently, the National Housing Trust pumped $32 million into Phase 2 of the Youth Upliftment Through Employment program, a profound move as our leaders seek to empower the nation's youth. Here now the stories of some who benefited greatly from Phase 1 of the program.
I'm on job experience, and now doing that and getting a little experience of that, I can know what the working world is all about. So when I go out there, I can know what to do.
Each day we receive a stipend of $1,500, and I'm very grateful and thankful for that because sometimes we don't have any money.
Providing support where support is needed. Andre and Chantel are only 2 of the hundreds of young persons who have benefited from a government-endorsed private sector-led initiative called Youth Upliftment Through Employment.
Youth was conceptualized as a private sector response to increasing levels of youth unemployment and unemployability within particularly vulnerable communities in Kingston and St. Andrew. We work with young persons aged 18 to 29 to guide them along the process of vocational skills training, literacy and numeracy upgrading, as well as facilitating internships and employment opportunities.
Youth has been around since 2011. While it's primarily driven by the private sector, critical government partnerships have been forged.
We have worked with the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning to facilitate the training of what we call our pre-skills program. So that's basic literacy and numeracy skills support. We have also worked with the National Works Agency as well as the National Youth Service in providing training for young persons in business administration as well as education. We have a particularly innovative construction skills program that we undertake with the support of the National Housing Trust, JEEP, as well as the Heart Trust NTA. And it is a one-year initiative that is designed to train young persons in construction skills, where young persons are currently engaged in classroom as well as on-the-job placement.
And participants testify to the impact it has had on their lives. Chantel and Andre are part of the Youth Build project, and they speak proudly of how much they've grown since their involvement with youth.
There's a lot of changes in my life, and I give thanks for a young man like me. Things that I usually do, I find myself stop doing it just because I have a youth and I'm going out now and trying to make it a better life for him.
I would like for the persons who started this program to continue for the young generation, just the youths them out there in the garrison that don't hear the news, get the word spread to them, and give everybody a second chance, get everybody deserve a second chance, and I hope it continues. I don't want it here.
Youth organizers were very deliberate in their selection of participants, singling out the most vulnerable and most deserving for assistance.
The selection of the communities was very much guided by the community profiles produced by the Social Development Commission, as well as any data available on youth unemployment and unemployability, studies done by the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, etc. It was also guided by in-depth community consultations.
Besides providing job placement opportunities, the youth program also has an entrepreneurship component.
Our entrepreneurship program has two main components. One is the Junior Achievement Model, which we do in partnership with Junior Achievement Jamaica, where they train our young persons, guide them through the process of writing their business plan, going through product testing. We actually have a group now who are doing their semi-liquid seasoning. So they're working with the Scientific Research Council to actually get all the requisite sign-offs to get it into the market.
The second is an incubator-type initiative where support is provided for business opportunities within the private sector. Youth has yielded good results, and the program, which was initially intended to be a 2-year intervention, is already set to be expanded.
One of the larger mandates for youth was to challenge the whole notion of social exclusion and to tear down some of the concepts that we've had about inner city communities and to provide a meaningful way of bringing young persons who have been traditionally excluded from the formal workspace and to kind of tear down some of those barriers. So there are plans afoot to continue that, and certainly for Youth Build, I know that a Cycle 2 is in the works.
If the program is to continue to achieve success, your help is needed. You can provide mentorship, internship opportunities, or permanent employment for qualified participants, or even donate funds to youth's work. Contact the Youth Program Management Office at 63 to 67 Knutsford Boulevard, Kingston 5, telephone 920-6254, or send an email to youth@developmentoptionsja.com.
Chantal, you know me can't find him for wait, I know when they know. Watch me, honey. Hey Chantal, where you watch? GIS? No most, you know say that the program are the best. Them always the places where you have progress. I'm made of them there. Don't me now forget. I must Manchester's finest. Hey, hide your remote, not change the station. Cause we soon come back with more information from the school and the station where you're number one, from the school and the program where you're number one.
This is Freddie McGregor, and all the youths need to listen to me carefully. This gang lifestyle won't put you anywhere except prison or 6 feet under. Think about your future. Crime and violence will destroy you and your family, so don't follow no gang. Stay in school, live good. A gang is a dead end.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Minister of Education, Reverend Ronald Thwaites, recently endorsed a proposal from faith-based organization Choose Life International to assess the emotional needs of students amidst media reports of teen violence and suicide in the island. We hear now from two ladies, one who is a student who grappled with suicide, and hear how they were helped on the path to happiness.
My mom committed suicide, it happens, and just the whole stigma that is associated with suicide, it meant that it was not talked about, she wasn't really mentioned.
For many, suicide is a topic that is swept under the rug. But today we're delving into the issue, finding out the facts, hearing personal stories of pain and triumph, and sharing the reasons that you should choose life. Jamaica over the years has had a relatively low suicide rate, but this should not be taken for granted, as there are those who can't see a way out of their difficulties, opting to choose a most permanent solution to what is always a temporary problem. Local statistics show that up to August 2013, 39 persons had taken their own lives. However, the global figures are staggering.
What we are seeing around the world is an increase in the number of suicides. In the year 2000, 815,000 people killed themselves around the world. By the time we got to the year 2010, approximately 1 million people took their lives. And the projection from the World Health Organization is that by the time we get to 2020, 1.53 million people will die by suicide every year.
Dismal figures indeed, especially when you consider that suicide affects persons at all ages and from all socioeconomic backgrounds. Causative factors include guilt, frustration, broken love affairs, and economic distress. Health professionals encourage families to get familiar with the warning signs. Persons who've made previous suicide attempts are at a greater risk of trying to take their own lives. Other signs include mental illness, changes in eating and sleeping habits, and unusual neglect of personal appearance. In many cases, the person struggling with suicidal thoughts has shared their thoughts with at least one other person. Such was the case with Stacey and Kimber's mother, who took her life when Stacey was only 9 years old.
I took it real hard. I didn't even cry for her. I wasn't able to cry for her until 2009. I didn't grieve. It happened, and I know the day I could not eat. I'm the one who found her and had to explain to my sisters that, well, you know, mommy's dead. And yeah, that day was terrible. But I was definitely upset with God, because I was like, well, God not like me, else he would have let my mom die like that, so me not like him back.
The stigma associated with suicide made coping difficult for young Stacey and her siblings.
We did not get any counseling. For me personally, I just knew life as I knew it had changed. I knew it has changed. I didn't know how much, but I knew it was changed. How did I cope? I read a lot, because I know we didn't manage it. It is still not managed in my family. It's still something people still want to say, probably let sleeping dogs lie, or it's still something that most people cannot talk about today.
In the case of Francesca Tavares, it was an issue she struggled with for years, despite being only 17 years old. 3 years ago, she made an attempt to take her life. Francesca says the fact that she's alive is a miracle.
I felt I had no purpose. I didn't like myself. I'd look in the mirror and I'd tell myself how ugly I was.
Fortunately for both Stacey and Aunt Francesca, they got help through the aid of Choose Life International, a suicide prevention and grief counseling organization started by Dr. Donovan Thomas and his wife Faith in 2008.
What we want to do is to help them to find hope, because suicidal persons are usually very hopeless.
The government of Jamaica, through the Ministry of Health, also has in place a number of avenues through which persons are able to get the help they need, with crisis centers in each region.
If persons begin to have repeated thoughts of suicides or should be planning to suicides, we would like to encourage such persons to speak to their health care provider. This could be a general practitioner, primary health care provider, doesn't have to be a mental health provider, but certainly A mental health provider would also be useful. These persons can be accessed at the health care facilities, primary health care centers, all across Jamaica. We do also have emergency psychiatric services that respond to crisis calls.
Today, Stacey-Ann is in a much better place as the memory of her mother's suicide no longer causes pain. She's using it as a tool to inspire and strengthen others. So too is Francesca, who has been excelling, becoming a testament that every problem can be overcome.
When my breakthrough happened, for me it was like the only thing I could see in life was possibilities.
It's a good thing I didn't commit suicide, because right after, a couple months later, I got 8 1s and a 2 in CSEC, and then I got CAPE 1 grades, 3 distinctions and a credit, and then CAPE 2 recently I got 2 distinctions, 2 credits, and now I got accepted to go to UWI law school, so that's good.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
Did you know regular physical activity controls your weight, reduces your risk of cardiovascular diseases, reduces your risk for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, reduces your risk of some cancers, strengthens your bones and muscles, and increases your chance of living longer? Get active, get fit, stay healthy.
I try to maintain a healthy heart by exercising a few times a week and watching what I eat. Note, try. As we continue to observe Heart Month, find out from other Jamaicans how they are caring for their hearts.
Exercise and healthy living, that's the simplest and easiest way to do it.
I like to exercise. I walk like most evenings, and I try to eat as healthy as possible. stay away from oil and fat and pork.
Walk, eat right.
Like most people, I try to exercise and eat right and, maintain a balanced diet, stay active, that kind of thing.
I like to walk and run.
But I do the things they say you're supposed to do, like don't smoke and exercise and, keep yourself good and thing.
I'm an early riser. I love early mornings. I love fresh breeze. I go for a walk every morning. I walk for between 45 minutes and an hour. I try to do some yoga. I'm a vegetarian. I eat lots of fruits, but I try to exercise and I try to eat well and I make sure I get enough rest.
Bordered by the world's 7th largest natural harbor, home to cultural landmarks, it's the heartbeat of the country. And now, with the introduction of Reggae Month, it's Kingston for February, promising to make the city capital a hotspot for local and foreign entertainment seekers.
From jungle to Rima, from Tivoli to Manchester.
So if you're away or at home, the ministry is inviting you to come to Kingston. There is an event for everyone, with some having no cover charge. Don't stay at home. Take along your friends and explore Reggae Month. It's Kingston for February. For more information on the ministry's initiative, you may call 920-4926-30 or click on their website mot.gov.jm.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub. A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there's a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy.
And that's it for Jamaica Magazine today. Send us your feedback by emailing jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm, plus visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to catch up on all the latest happenings. Check us out also on Twitter and Facebook. Remember, if you don't have a plan, design one today, because those who fail to plan to fail. On behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, wishing you blessings and peace.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.